Yo, what's up, family? 6:30 Thursday. What's happening with you? My first question of the bat. Of course, you always know I got a question for you. Is it time to move yet? Is it time to move yet? Let me get this
Oh yeah,
situated.
I
There we
can
go.
slide over.
Okay. All right. Here
How's
we go.
everyone doing?
Yeah. So we back here 6:30. It's another Thursday. So we thankful to be here. So welcome to the Anti-Negativity Network. We're here again to do what it is we're called to do, and y'all know when she with me, I'm real good. So it's my power pellet. So all you Pac-Man people. But anyway, look, yeah, so we just want to go ahead and get started. Few things we want to share with you and hopefully we encourage you to continue to go after it, continue to push, continue to drive, continue to just no quit. Okay, don't quit, don't quit. But as we always do, let's go ahead and get it started. And on the count of three, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. All right. So there we go. We hopefully that deep breath right there is what you needed as well. Make one little and yeah, let's do this. There we go. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So hopefully you oh, let me fix that back. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this right. Y'all know this is live, so this is not pre-recorded. I tell y'all that every week. It's not pre-recorded, so what you see is what you get. So here we are. So but the first thing before we get into what we're going to talk about, I do want to just say, it just hit me before we came on here. Oftentimes we hear somebody ask us to pray for them, right? In passing, or we just somebody's going through something and they don't go in deep detail, but they just say, "Hey, pray for me," or whatever, right? We hear that all the time, and so my question is, do you actually pray for them? And sometimes we even say, "Yeah, I'm praying for you," but do we actually do that? Do we actually do that? And so I just want to challenge you. If you say it, just make sure you do it. Okay. And don't think that you have to go into no deep meditation period and you got to get on your knees and you got to, you know, be in a certain position, a certain place. And sometimes you do need that. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes we need to be in that quiet place. Sometimes we need to, be shut away from everything, blocking the noise so we can focus in. But sometimes it's just simply saying, "Hey, God, bless them, meet them at their point of need, something." But just make sure that if you say you're going to pray for someone, that you do it. Okay. Don't make an empty promise. Don't say, "I'm going to do something," and don't do it. Okay. And something as simple as praying. And we say it all the time. And sometimes we just say it out of habit, but we really don't follow through on that. So I do want to challenge you. Follow through on what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to pray for somebody, sometimes you just need to hit it right then and there, get it done. Okay. And then he'll recall when you get your quiet time, when you get your moment by yourself, and you get that quiet time, and he'll remind you of some of those people you said you're going to pray for. And so I just wanted to just touch on that.
Yeah,
Come on, baby.
yeah, no. I think once we come to the revelation of how powerful prayer is,
Right.
then that will push us to make sure that we do pray for that person that asks for prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's a powerful tool, a gift that God has blessed each and every one of us with, and we all can pray.
Yeah, excuse me.
Mm-hmm. You good?
Oh, no. Go ahead, do your talk.
We all can pray.
I just need that.
I know sometimes some people say, "Will you pray for me?" Thinking that, one person's prayer is heard more so than the other person's prayer. But that's not true.
No.
God hears all of our prayers.
Yeah.
And the same power that one person has in prayer, you have that same power to pray as well.
Yeah. And again, it's about the heart. When it comes to praying, it's about the heart. And you being sincere and just simply And you don't need to know what to pray for. Honestly, you don't. You don't know what they're dealing with, what's going on. And sometimes you don't need to know. Okay. It's just simply, they ask for prayer. You just simply pray. And you could just simply say, hey, God, you know what's going on. Touch them or be with them, guide them, whatever you feel led to say at that time. But don't think that you have to know what's going on in order to pray for somebody. Simply just pray for them. Okay. Because we all need it. We all stand in the need of prayer. We all need it. A lot of us are here because of the prayers of others. Okay. And so we want to make sure we pray for others because we just never know. We will never know. But we do know that power of prayer is crucial. It matters. So just want to speak on that real quick. But we're going to go ahead and run to Genesis because that's what we're doing. We've been hanging out with Genesis. And we in chapter 7 and 8 this week. Last week we touched on 5 and 6, and we got to talking about Noah and him building the ark and God giving him specific directions on building the ark. And so now we're here in chapter 7, and now it's time. It's showtime now. It's showtime because he done finished the ark, and God has said, okay, all right, let's go ahead and get them. Let's go ahead and round up everybody because it's time to go on this ark because I'm about to drop it for 40 straight days and nights. I'm about to drop it, and it ain't gonna be no joke. So if you ain't in the boat, you're in trouble. Okay. If you are a land animal or you're a human being, you do not want to be outside this boat. And unfortunately, some folk was outside the boat. Okay. And animals was outside the boat. And for 40 days and 40 nights, it came down. It came down. And so, in chapter 7, the one thing it talked about was Noah being a righteous man. And as I alluded here the last couple of weeks, I've always said they didn't have a Bible, right? They were in more direct communication with God back then. They didn't have no Bible. They was figuring this thing out as they go, right? But Noah knew about God and he had a relationship with God, and the Bible says he was a righteous man. He was righteous, and God recognized that. And as a result, that's why Noah was called to do what he did, because of the life that he lived. Okay. And so, if you read through chapter 7, it talks about how he rounded up. God told him to round up, 2 by 2, man, female, every land animal, every creepy crawly, even the cockroaches, all of them. Bring everybody. Bring your family, your sons and their wives. Bring your wife. Everybody come on here. Okay. But make sure it's male and female. Okay. And we'll talk about the reason why male and female in chapter 8. But in chapter 7, he just, come on, let's get on this boat. And so the thing about that I got out of that, and you be ready, but the thing I got out of chapter 7 is the fact that you just never know what kind of a difference you're going to make. Okay. And Noah, being the person that he was at that time, his righteousness, it basically saved humanity in all of the animal kingdom as it relates to land animals. Because if you read it and be specific, it just talked about anything on land was going to be destroyed because God was fed up. He was done. He was over it, as we like to say. He was over it. And God set it up where anything on land, it's not going to last if you're not in this ark. Yeah, somebody?
Yeah, I do. One thing that I got out of it is that God warned Noah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he warned that,
yes, he did.
So he sent warnings. He sends warnings to us as well.
That's very true.
He sends warning, and whether or not we listen to him, then that's the issue.
But now we're going different directions. Go ahead.
He gives us warning about things or events that are going to take place.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives us an opportunity to listen to him and prepare ourselves.
Yes.
So prepare, take preparation, as you always say, preparation. He gives us opportunity to make those preparations and to listen to him and to do what he's instructing us to do. And so Noah did that. And as a result, Ron asked the question when he came on, are you ready to move? As you can see, Noah did all the steps. So now he's ready to move. He's ready to move into that ark that he built. He's ready to go because he followed the steps that was outlined for him.
Yeah. Oh, hey, no, what you stopped for? You was on a roll. I take back seat on this one. Come on with it. Come on, I love it. That's good stuff.
And the other point that I got out of it was, yes, God destroyed the earth because the earth was wicked. And we have to understand that God is a God of love and he's a God of wrath. Oftentimes we don't hear about the God of wrath.
Right.
We hear all the make you feel good messages, and we don't hear enough about,
ain't that the truth?
God is a jealous God, and he's going to deal with us and deal with our sins one way or the other.
Right.
And so, the story of Noah, to me, was about, God's love for humanity as well as his wrath against humanity.
Because he was fed up. He was fed up, no doubt about it. But then, God, you was all on this. I
can keep going.
Keep going. Because to me, you spot on with the fact that God is showing you both sides of him right here. Because he could have just wiped it out and been done with it all, and we wouldn't be having this conversation today, right? I wouldn't even know who you are. He could have done that. He had the right to do that. He had the ability to do that because he's God. But he showed mercy and say, all right, we're going to reset. And here's what you need to do, Noah. Do X, Y, Z. And what I always tell y'all every week, pray, plan, prepare, proceed. That's right here in chapter 7. Okay? And God, that's good stuff. Go ahead, babe. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You on the road. Roll with it. Roll. Because that's good stuff. You spot on. You kind of hitting what I was saying. So go ahead. No.
I was just saying, getting back to the warnings. Just simple things. Sometimes God will tell you, don't go back over there again, or don't go back down that road again. He's telling you that for a reason.
Yeah.
And we have to listen to him. Or, I don't know. I can just think of examples with COVID. Again, just me personally. I've been in this house for 4 years now. 4 years working from home. It's just isolated in this house for 4 years. But in that 4 years, there are a number of things that I have done in preparation for my next move, and so when God says move, then
you're ready to go.
Ready to go. And
you just never know when his time is going to be.
Right. You never know when his time is going to be.
Go ahead. When preparation meets opportunity, success is guaranteed. Let me say it again. When preparation meets opportunity, success is guaranteed. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, our bishop said that
yes, he did.
in one of his sermons.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And this is proving it. But go ahead, babe. Go ahead. You roll with it. I'm taking back seat on this one. Go ahead.
No, I'm good.
So, all right. So you coming back, though. But so that was pretty much chapter 7. And if you read chapter 7, I always tell you, go read it for yourself. So we in Genesis 7 and Genesis 8. And when Genesis 7, he's talking about, they finally got on the boat, and it was 2 by 2. Well, 1 by 1, however you want to say it, however you want to look at it. But it was male and female of every animal and of every human was male and female. Okay. And so, and the waters just rose up for 40 days and 40 nights. And it got so much rain to the point that it was over the mountain. So you can imagine being water as tall as the mountain. Like you can't even see the mountain. And then add another 22 feet to that. If you read it, that's why even another 22 feet above the highest peak That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. And so it took a special boat not only to hold them, but to also keep them from all of those flood waters, because you can't think it was just water dripping. It was, I'm sure it was some rocky water going on. Okay. And so, but God had him prepare for what was about to come. And he had heeded the warning. And as a result of that, now we move over to chapter 8, and it starts out with God said God remembered them being in the boat. Okay. And so now that, okay, God's like, okay, that's enough. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna let this let the rain stop, and the water's gonna start to go down and land dry up and everything. And literally it took about a year. The whole process from the time it started raining till the land actually dried up. And it talks about how Noah had a window in the boat, and he opened up the window and sent out a dove. And the dove, first time the dove went out, it came right back. Couldn't find nowhere they couldn't find no dry land, right? So the dove came back. Waited another week, sent the dove back out. The dove came back with a olive branch. It was not an olive branch. I forget what it. He came back with something in his mouth. Okay, I forget what it was. Branch. Was it olive branch?
Yeah, olive
okay.
Leaf.
The olive leaf. The olive leaf. So the dove comes back with the olive leaf, but he still said, "No, still not totally dry yet." So he brings the dove back in. They wait another week, sends the dove back out again, and this time the dove doesn't come back. So that's pretty much letting him know, okay, we are at but we still not quite there yet. Okay. And so if you read it, it said 2 months later is when God said, okay, it's time to come out the boat. It's time to come out the boat. And the reason why God set it up where you had male and female, because he told them, okay, go ahead, get out the boat. And I need y'all to go out here and be fruitful and multiply. Okay. And so they went out, animals and the husband and wives went out and was fruitful, multiplied, and populated the earth again. Okay. And so the one thing I got out of that, and hopefully you got some too, I want you to talk, but the one thing I got out of that is the fact that you can't move before it's your time. Now, some of us in this microwave society we live in, we want it right now, don't want to wait for nothing. They had to wait a whole year. They waited a whole year inside an ark. Okay, they in a boat for a whole year. Some of y'all can't even wait 5 minutes. Come on, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing. You know, he was in that boat for an entire year.
Entire year. Can you imagine being in a boat for a year?
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, God will hide you.
Yeah.
He will hide you from your enemies. Yep. Sometimes he'll hide you in the midst of your enemies, but he will hide you until he's ready to bring you forth. And he will put you in a holding pattern too, you know, so that you won't destroy yourself.
There you go.
You know,
talk about it.
Count it not strange sometimes when you can't figure out why you can't proceed forward because, as Ron said, it's not your time. Right.
There you go. And that was the thing. It's just not your time. And don't think it's always somebody hating on you or it's the enemy or something. No, sometimes it's God that's literally keeping you from yourself. Because you're not ready yet. And you ready to go out here and think you ready. You ready to make it happen. But you're really not ready. And so sometimes he got to slow you up. Sometimes he got to keep you, as she just said, in a holding pattern because it's simply just not your time yet. And what if you move before it is your time? You go out there and drown. You go out there and get stuck in the mud. You go out there, slip and fall, break something, and now you really can't do nothing. It wasn't time yet for them to come out the ark. So it might not be time for you to do what it is you feel like you're supposed to be doing. You're getting ready for it. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. You ain't at the proceed level yet. Sorry. Keep prepping. Keep getting ready. Keep praying. Keep learning. Keep getting understanding. Keep reading. Keep asking questions. Keep doing whatever it is you need to do to learn. But when it's time to move, he's going to let you know. You will know when it's time to move. But don't think it's always the enemy blocking you because you can't proceed when you want to proceed. It's just simply not your time yet. Okay? Come on, man.
Yeah, and so the last thing that I got out of it, once Noah saw the dry land, the water receded, the first thing he did was created a sacrifice or burnt offering to worship God.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do when we walk into that opportunity, or we proceed and go where God tells us to go. Our first act
say that
should be an act of worship and thanksgiving.
There you go.
That's the very first thing that we should do.
Yes.
Come
on with it. Come on. I'm loving this. You doing your thing tonight.
Very first thing that we should do is to give honor to God, give him thanks, and give him a sacrifice of worship.
Yeah.
And then God promised never to destroy a living thing on this earth again. And that was the last point of chapter 8.
Yes.
He'll never destroy this earth by blood. And
I'm going to get way ahead of myself on this one. But at the end of the day, for us today, that's why we want to thank God for Jesus. Because it was for him. It was because of him that God didn't go and do a second wave of destruction. Because Jesus paid it for us. He paid that price because we were still wicked. And he even said it in chapter 8, that even though in our hearts, we still have that wickedness, it still exists. He said, I'm not going to destroy. And Jesus gave himself for us so that we wouldn't be destroyed. So with that, we just want to give thanks. And as she said, just when he allows you to move, when it allows you to get to where it is you're supposed to go. Y'all know I'm on here every week talking about going for your dreams and your goals. When you achieve it, make sure the first thing you do is you give him thanks. You make sure that you honor him for what he allowed you to be able to do, where you've been able to go, what you've been able to accomplish. You have to honor him first. Okay? Seek him first. I'm telling you, and it's going to make a big difference in your life. So we're going to roll out of here. Thank y'all for listening. We appreciate you, love you. And as we always tell you to do, again, and I said it 3-4 times in here. I'm going to say it one more time, and I say it every week. What am I supposed to say?
Say it with me.
Pray, plan, prepare. Oh, my God.
Prepare and proceed.
Go make it do what it do. One of these days, my wife's going to get it right. Pray, plan, prepare, proceed. Go make it do what it do. We're going to see you next week at 6:30. Love you.